All right, ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to talk about nonfiction text structure. So, the heading for your notes should be text structure, because that's what we're talking about today. What is text structure? Text structure refers to the ways authors organize information in nonfiction texts. So, the way when we were talking about fiction text structure, we had the rising action and we had the climax and we had the resolution. That doesn't really work in nonfiction texts. So, instead, there are several different text structures that are for nonfiction texts. And the reason that you look at this is to help you understand the main idea or purpose of the writing that you're reading. It tells you what's coming up in the article, or if that type of article is what you're looking for to use for the part of the information that you need. There are 5 different text structures in nonfiction text, and I'm going to go through each one, and I'm going to give you some keywords to look for that are like signals that tell you that, yes, this is this kind of text structure. So the first one is sequence. This structure is usually a sequence of events or steps in a process. It can be written in chronological, which means time, order. So just like we see in this picture here where we've got the person jumping and they're working all the way through, this kind of structure is going to be a bunch of things in order. Example, if you want a tall cake, you must first mix each of the ingredients and then each of the dry ingredients and then. So those keywords, first, next, last, finally, in the first place. These are directions, things that go in order, either in time, like first she jumped and then she flew through the air and finally she landed. Okay? So these are things in order, in sequence. The second type of text structure is probably the kind that you see most frequently. It's description. This structure usually talks about one topic and explains the details and characteristics of that topic. A person telling certain aspects of their life in detail can write in this structure. So, for example, the title of the article is Polar Bears, and it tells all about them. For instance, there is a section where the polar bear lives, where they eat, and how they look. So, keywords are, for instance, for example, to illustrate, any kind of book that you're reading that tells you about something, that describes it. That's a description kind of text. Okay? So our next type is compare and contrast. This structure shows you the similarities and differences among things. It shows you how they're similar or not similar to each other. For example, the first astronaut ate food from tubes, while astronauts today eat all kinds of foods. So they're showing you the difference. Even though they're both astronauts, you're showing you the difference. So, just like apples and oranges are different, but they both have things in common. So it's comparing and contrasting. If you see a Venn diagram kind of stuff. Keywords that you're looking for are like, both, in contrast, on the other hand, but, however, also. So words that are comparing are words like, both, also. Words are contrasting, in contrast, on the other hand, but, however. So compare is similar, contrast is different. What happened? Okay, sorry. The next one is problem and solution. This structure describes an issue and offers a way to correct it. It describes a way to fix something or make it better. For example, the Leaning Tower of Pisa was in danger of falling over. Engineers removed the soil from one side of the tower to straighten it a little. So the first part gives you the problem. The Tower of Pisa was falling over. The second part gives you the solution, how they fixed it. Keywords you're looking for in this one is the question is, the problem is, the solution is, one answer is. Anytime you see anything talking about problems or issues and how they fix them. Cause and effect. is kind of similar to problems in solution, except this is more talking about history. This structure attempts to explain why something happens. It shows how one action leads to another, just like in this picture. One domino knocks down the next. For example, after the Civil War, because of the damages from the battles, the South needed to rebuild. So, the cause was damage. The effect was the South needed to rebuild. So anytime you see keywords like if and then, because, since, then, as a result of, for this reason, consequently, yet. So anytime you're seeing something like talking kind of about history, where they're talking about this happened and then this happened. So it's similar to problem and solution, except the solution isn't, the cause is, it's more talking about history. So this caused this to happen. So, for example, if we go back to the previous example where it said problem, and the problem was the Leaning Tower of Pisa, the cause was, why was the Tower of Pisa leaning? Because there was more soil on one side than the other. The effect was the tower was leaning. And then that caused a problem that had a solution of removing the soil. Okay, so those two tie really closely together. So those are the 5 kinds of text structure. We are going to do an activity where you are looking for those text structures. So make sure your notes have the keywords and the definition of each structure so that you can use those notes to do tomorrow's activity. You may rewatch this video if necessary.